Our second technical session is about the analysis of policies for India's biogas and biofertilizer industry. This session will focus on the global impact of biogas, will cover comprehensive understanding of the latest trends and strategies shaping the policy landscape and their impact on financial decision making. Before I request the moderator of the session to kindly take over, ladies and gentlemen, this session will also offer a valuable opportunity to expand the knowledge base and gain value insights from the industry experts. From exploring innovative policy initiatives to examining the financial implications of regulatory changes, it will guide through the economics and incentives available under biogas policy. Please put your hands together. I also invite onto the stage GM SIDBI, Shri Rajiv Kumar, onto the stage. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Rajiv Kumar. We're lacking a bit of energy here. We talk about the renewable energy India. Can we put our hands together and restart the conference? Our next technical session. May I request the moderator of the session to kindly take forward from here?
Thank you so much. Can I request if we can have the name cards as well, so the people that are missing that. But good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to be here again, moderating this exciting panel. I remember last year when we were doing it with Abhijit and Gaurav. We had limited session, we had less people. But today it's a day full of biogas. So in 1 year, the change is noticeable. It is palpable, the energy, the enthusiasm. And it's great, from a sector which was maybe not as vibrant. In the last 1 or 2 years, the sector has become really vibrant. And we're talking about things, next generation things that we're going to see in biogas. I am delighted to be moderating this panel, which has some very experienced people from different walks of life who will be able to bring their experience, Indian, international, and even in that experience from different sectors, and try and understand how we can all benefit from learning that already exists, and we perhaps don't need to relearn a lot of the things that we already understand. With that, I'm going to begin the discussion. And as you know, this session is around the analysis of policies for India's biogas and biofertilizer sectors. So I'll start with Mr. Vijay Kumar. As you already heard, he's a consultant for CBG projects in IOC. But again, he's had a very illustrious career in Indian Oil, and he retired recently as General Manager, Alternate Energy. So Mr. Kumar, first of all, thank you for joining here. I'd like to request you to share your understanding, perhaps, and for the benefit of the audience, the policies that have come in the biogas sector. Maybe if you can lay a background, which will help have the discussion. It'll be great to have your thoughts and description about the policies in the and regulations in the biogas sector. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for inviting me to this session on compressed biogas CBG sector. So just I will give a brief about the various development till now in the field of policies and compressed biogas. So 1st of October 2018, we launched SATAT program. SATAT means Sustainable Alternative Towards Affordable Transportation for compressed biogas, for setting up compressed biogas. And at that time, we decided to, on the behalf of the ministry, it was target was given for 5,000, setting up 5,000 biogas plant, very ambitious target. And Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, initially these three companies were there, who joined hand and launched this SATAT program. That time procurement price was decided as 46 rupees per kg of compressed biogas. Main crunch of the policy was the procurement price was 46 rupees when the CNG price in the Delhi market was 40 rupees. So that way it's a very encouraging that 40 rupees CNG was sold in the Delhi market, but we decided to procure pan India 46 rupees per kg. That was the 2018, long back, 5 years back. Then we felt that rapid development is not taking place. We could find that manure is a big challenge, organic manure selling, because there was no quality issue and nothing was defined by the government how organic manure, what quality organic manure will be manufactured and how it will be sold. So 13th of July 2020, first gadget notification for sale of organic manure from compressed biogas. That policy has come, in which organic manure quality was decided in gadget notification from the compressed biogas. Then funding was the problem. So on 4th of September, RBI circular came, which included compressed biogas CBG plant to be included in the priority sector lending. Means funding by the banks was included in the priority sector lending. So we all know that in priority sector lending, so many facility are there, and 100 crore for one plant, 100 crore funding was allowed by RBI. That circular has come in 24th of September 2020. Then gas grid injection. 9th of April, this MOPNG has issued a circular in which co-mingling of CBG in the CGD sector, this circular was issued. That gas grid CGD sector, this CBG should be injected. That permission was given on the 9th of April 2021. Then again, 31st May 2021, liquid manure from the CBG plant. This circular was issued. Gazette notification was issued by the Government of India. Again, we felt that permission from the government, various pollution control board, they were delay in the permission because in some states, CBG was considered in orange category, red category, something like that. So we approached Environment Ministry, and on 22nd September 2021, this CBG sector was included in a white category field, provided this organic manure which is coming out of the CBG plant is matching the Gazette notification which has been issued by the Government of India. So this was also to help in setting up the CBG plants. In a white category, many of the Bevel is there for setting up the CBG plants. Then again, 26 September, operational guideline for injection of the gas grid, CBG in the gas grid. This operational guideline was issued. Then February, 21st February, Explosive Department 2022. Explosive Department has issued a circular that wherever CNG is sold in the market, there is no need to take separate explosive approval for selling of the CBG from the same retail outlet. That circular has come. Then 20th of May, new pricing policy we have on the industry basis, we have issued new pricing policy which said that as per the CNG market, CBG should be procured at the rate of approximately 80% of the CNG sold in the market. That policy pricing need, so if the CNG is sold in the market at say rupees 100 per kg, then CBG will be procured at rupees 80. So that circular new pricing policy has, so from 46 rupees jump to 80 rupees. That substantial jump was there last year when we come out with a circular. Then last year, November 7th of November, this MNRE, this subsidy, CFS subsidy up to 10 crore, this circular was issued. So 4 crore to 10 crore, this circular has been issued as a central financial assistance from the MNRE. Then this year, market development assistance in May, fertilizers, sale of fertilizer, 1500 per kg, market development assistance, this year circular has issued. So you see so many sequence of approvals, so sequence of policy changes, intervention time to time, whenever need was felt, has come. So this is the summary till now we have, so far we have made as far as policy intervention is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that's an exceptional summary of the policies that we are seeing since start. And I've noted these dates as well to remember. It's like almost birthdays and anniversaries that we have to remember. But exceptional, and I think what it shows really is that the pace of progress. There is definitely a desire to make this a mainstream fuel, and these policies are coming up to the extent that they can be supported. We will come back to you subsequently to also ask about what next you think and when they might come. So thank you for giving that background. Uh, Next, I'll move to Mr. Rajiv Kumar. He's GM SIDBI and deeply engaged in financing of this sector. And a very important requirement of the plants is to get the right financing at the right cost, and he's at the center of it all. We understand that there are challenges that entrepreneurs face in obtaining financing without collaterals, and collateral is a challenge that banks ask for. So my question to you, Rajiv ji, is can you share your experiences around the products that are being designed to reduce this collateral requirement, how banks can lend to entrepreneurs with lesser restrictions and requirements? So, request you to please share your thoughts.
Thank you. Uh, just a brief introduction about SIDBI for those who are not aware what SIDBI is. SIDBI is a development financial institution. We are not a commercial bank. And it was set up under an act of parliament. And our mandate is to promote, finance and develop the MSME sector in India. And around 92% of our total book, which is around 4 lakh crore, is towards giving liquidity support to banks, financial institutions, NBFCs, small finance banks, etc. So huge amount of liquidity we are providing to these lenders for giving loans to the MSME sector, so that there is enough liquidity in the system and they are able to provide loans to the MSME sector. Then we have set up certain institutions. I think you might all heard about CGTMSE, Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. This is promoted by SIDBI and Ministry of MSME, and this institution provides security when guarantee against the loan given to these micro and small enterprises. And so far, 5 lakh guarantees have been issued by that institution, and which has, made credit available to lakhs and crores of micro and small enterprises. So, similarly, SIDBI has been running a program called Partial Risk Sharing Facility for Energy Efficiency. Again, this is for development of ESCO market, energy service company market in the energy efficiency space. And under this program, we have been providing guarantees to the banks for lending to the energy efficiency projects which are being implemented through energy service companies. So, what I'm trying to indicate here is that what SIDBI is doing is that we are creating certain specialized products so that we can give comfort to the lenders, like State Bank is there and other lenders, commercial lenders, so that they can lend to those sectors. There are certain sectors wherein there is a high perceived risk. So energy efficiency through ESCOs was a sector, and we have been very successfully do that. And in fact, we have been able to bring in around 15 other lenders who are availing that facility, and now loans are happening to energy service company. Similar facility we have recently launched, where 2 facilities we are considering for biogas sector. There is a small facility which has already been launched. It is again a risk sharing facility. with the support of GIZ. It's a 4 million facility, 4 million euro facility. And out of that facility, we are guaranteeing the loans given by banks for the enterprises who are in the space of municipal solid waste. And we are also working with the World Bank to develop a bigger facility of USD to 250 million, again a risk sharing facility, so that we can guarantee the loans given by banks to the extent of 75%, so that the comfort and confidence of the bank is higher when they are lending to CBG sector. I mean, it's not that CBG sector is very risky. That I'm not trying to convey. I'm trying to convey that because this is a market where technology is yet to stabilize, and there are not many, I mean, projects so far in the, so banks are slightly, banks have a, I mean, perceived risk that they feel that they should have some more comfort, more collateral with them. That's why there is a ask for more collateral in respect of these projects. So we are trying to obviate this problem through this risk sharing facility. So I will stop here and take questions.
I think thank you for sharing that news that you have a 4 million euro facility supported by GIZ and a $250 million facility supported by World Bank coming up. I hope that once these facilities are in place, banks should be able to lend to entrepreneurs without the requirement of heavy collaterals that we have seen. It of course be it's some time before these facilities hit the market, but maybe in the next few months, once they are in the market, we will start to see the impact. So with that, actually, let me now move on to a bank or the technical consultancy division of a bank, the closest we can get to a bank. We have Mr. Ravi Kaushal. He's the Chief Manager, Consultancy Services Cell for SBI. And he was telling me that they have expertise in many different industries. So, can I request you, Mr. Kaushal, to provide some insight into SBI's role in financing these biogas projects under Satat? How many companies have organized? How are you lending? What are the practices? Whatever you are able to share in this platform will be very valued by the people who are listening.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me tell you the background of our department. It's a very peculiar department because everybody, when they go to the bank, so normally they go for, say, a $1 of deposit or maybe a cash or so, or maybe when they go for a loan, so when they meet any credit officer, they talk about the rate of interest or the collateral security, nothing more than that. So way back, our department is the oldest department in State Bank of India. So way back, 50 years back, it was established. So by that time, the idea was, because that was the young India after independence, and the idea was to groom the startups and entrepreneurs of those times. So just to make the strong base of India in the terms of industrialization. So in our department, some 200 engineers were recruited from various fields from the reputed institutes. And the idea was because in the banks, the officers are coming from various backgrounds. They are coming from science, commerce. Now because of unemployment rate, the doctors and engineers are also started joining the bank. So the idea is whenever they find any difficulty in our we call it SME branches. We have got a dedicated SME branch. I'm in Delhi circle right now. So the Pan India, in our circle, there are 48 branches, and the Pan India, there are some 2,000 branches dedicatedly they're doing the SME loans. So if any entrepreneur or any startup, when they go to the branch, if they find any difficulty, so they send the proposal to us, and then we will do the detailed TV study of the proposal and give back to the branch. So even our sanctioning committee, they have a trust on us, because rather than taking the advice from the external consultant, who will be taking maybe 5 or 10 lakhs from the promoter, and then after that he'll be out of the picture. So it is better to have a opinion of the in-house consultancy sir. So they have a full faith on us, and the loan gets sanctioned. So that is the credibility and the importance of our department. And regarding renewable financing, we have been financing not only we have been financing solar power projects, ground mounted as well as the rooftop projects. For the rooftop project, we have got a special dedicated scheme, the World Bank scheme. We are financing wind energy and electrical vehicle financing we are doing. We are doing ethanol projects, and recently ministry also, another role we are having because we are also going and attending seminars for ministry also, and we are helping the ministry in implementation of their policy and schemes. So recently, those who are hailing, coming from the Delhi or NCR region, you might have knowing during November, December, there was a problem of parali because in the Punjab, during after harvesting of the rice crop, the they burn the parali out of it, and the Delhi is under the cover of smoke during November, December. So the government formulated the policy ki why don't we make a pellet out of it, the biomass pellet of the parali. It is the condensed bullet shaped. So, and this policy, it started way back in 2016 in Dadri plant, and now it is the policy, the Ministry of Power, they made a Samarth mission dedicated. Now it is mandatory for all thermal power plant to mix 5% biomass pellet with the coal. So in that, we also help them out in making a bankable project report. So coming to the financing, for the renewable financing, we have been doing so many financing. We are also financing compressed biogas also. So just let me have, as Shri Vijay Kumar also just he narrated all the things from the 2018. I also just, from the bank's perspective, I want to tell to you, in the 2018, when the certain scheme was launched, so we were quite skeptical because normally the engineers, they have a technical bent of mind, they think everything very logically. So we were very skeptical about the scheme because by that time there was no technology at all. The entrepreneurs also, they were very confused how to go. And the price of CBG also, it was very, very less. It was not competitive at all. So that's why, and we also, in the absence of any technology, we were also not support of financing any CBG project. This was regarding State Bank of India and other banks also, because lack of knowledge also, nobody was touching any CVG project. But over a period of time, from 2018 to 19, the things have changed now. Now, most of the reputed suppliers are there in the market. The technology also, it has evolved a lot. And the price of CBG also, now it is a very competitive right now, and it is drastically improved the viability of the projects. So now the banks also, which were not looking at all, now it has started looking as those CBG projects. And I think letter of intent also, I'll just put another thing. Another thing, yes. Another good thing is the CBG, CGD scheme is also added up. CBG, CGD means city gas distribution. Because earlier CBG was based with the criteria of replacing the CNG gas with compressed biogas. So now CBG means city gas distribution. Right now, almost all they are using the cylinder, LPG cylinder in most of the cities, and now it is being replaced by the pipeline. IGL is putting the pipeline and most of the cities. Now the time has come for the not only the state capitals, but the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Those cities also now they are thinking of, the IGL is also thinking of putting the lines. So now the CBG CDG scheme, it has opened an alternative market for CBG. So that is a very good point. And as far as letter of intents are concerned, in the year 2019, just 3 months before lockdown, so we received some 375 applications. So these were the leads, means these are the candidates who wanted to avail the loan from the banking sector. So we went through, so just to take help of that, we went to ICL also, we took the help of Shri Vijay Kumar also. Then we came to know, yes, it is mandatory to give a bank guarantee of rupees 5 lakh to become eligible for availing the loan. So when we again scrutinize those applications, the number reduced from 375 to only 33. So these 33, again, we just scrutinize those things. Obviously, during that time, it was quite difficult, and it was most of the project report also, it was in a very shabbily prepared. And there were various reasons for not financing those things. But the three things which I would like to throw light is, first of all, there are three main criteria from the bank's perspective I like to share with you. The very first thing is the acquisition of land. Acquisition land means, just prior to this session, you heard about the supply chain, importance of that. And regarding land, getting the required area of land at the right location, because location plays a very important role from procurement of raw material point of view, as well as selling of your CBG point of view. So that is a very, very difficult task, because of this so many projects could not be materialized. Number two is raw material procurement. Many of the projects, they were not having a long-term procurement of the raw material. And why this becomes a more important in a CBG project? because for a particular installed capacity of CVG, the requirement of raw material is 20 to 30 times. I repeat, 20 to 30 times. This is a huge amount. So that's why it is a very important for any entrepreneur or a promoter to have a long-term agreement. In absence of that, it is it is the riskier. You forget about the financing for the project. You think from the project point of view. It is very riskier for any project if there is a no long-term FTAC agreement. And the third thing which I already narrated is technology. Means the technology, whether I should go to this technology or that technology. Most of the promoter also, they were not aware. So because of these reason, this 33 also we got only 3. We handhold those 3 projects and we just help them out to our branches also, and then ultimately got it sanctioned. They were 3 TPD, 5 TPD and 7 TPD project. This is the case of Delhi Circle. We are having some 17 circle pan India. I think the number is what we have financed pan India is more than 15. So the good time is coming, and I hope it will come, because the CBG CGD is also another market which is adding up. And again, I'll tell you, it is not the financing per se is only the thing. It is the ecosystem which makes any industry to flourish. So now what I say, the time has come, because now the government is also giving so many subsidies. Particularly in UP, if you want to put up a plant, you will be getting a central subsidy as well as the UP subsidy. So that was from my side.
Thank you. And as you say, good times are coming. So we hope this number 375 going down to 33 actually becomes 330 loans provided soon. So but thank you for your summary of and how you see it from a banker's perspective. Next, I want to move to Mr. Mendiratta, who is the CEO of Indian Energy Exchange, Indian Gas Exchange. Anything to do with market. He's developing the markets for anything and everything. So, what I want to ask you about, you heard Mendiratta ji, you heard Mr. Vijay mention the pricing for CBG. It was 45. Then now 20% discount to CGD, or the CNG prices. But there is a big difference between the CNG natural gas and the CBG that is produced. There is a green attribute that CBG has, which makes it virtually emission free. Right now, the pricing does not include any incentive or any benefit of that carbon mitigating factor. So in that context, can you talk about what market mechanisms can be there, especially since we are all looking at sustainability in a big way now after the India's successful G20 summit, and what could be the potential solutions, market solutions that could provide a carbon-linked value to the CBG?
Yeah, thanks Gurdeep, and thanks IBA for this opportunity, particularly Abhijit. See, I'll give my background. Like, we have been operating a electricity platform. You must be knowing about Indian Energy Exchange. And also we started, that is operating since last 15, 16 years. And we have started Indian Gas Exchange, which we did in 2020, and it's more than 2.5 years now. And we are basically people who are involved in creating market mechanisms. Now we can be sure that what we are doing is right, because both the exchanges have been quite successful. And we also created a lot of mechanisms within electricity, which if some people are there from electricity side, they must be knowing about a renewable energy certificate mechanism. And of course, we started green day market. And so we have a good experience in operating markets and also designing markets so that you can give value to each and every part of your commodity. So normally we see commodity CBG as, because people have been talking about CBG, and we only talk about CBG as a methane basically, which is being used for the purpose, and of course fertilizer. But what we see this as a logically a bundled commodity, which is bundle of methane, and then also there is a green attribute. In the last session, I was very happy to hear Atul. He said that so far we have been talking about methane, valuing methane, pricing of methane, but we have not talked about how we should give value to green attribute. And it is a really, really big part of it. We are doing so many things to make things green. The companies are investing so much on ESG, but when your all types of bio waste is actually mitigating methane, which is methane emission into the environment, which is like 25-30 times harmful than CO2, and then we are creating such a big value to the whole environment in terms of converting that methane to carbon dioxide, which is much lower. And of course, this is when we talk about waste, then we are of course mitigating methane. But when we are producing energy crops and then using it for as a fuel, even that time we are carbon neutral. So both ways we are creating this green attribute into the system, bringing that green attribute into the system. Why not we get a value of it? So today, when we understand that when CBG market is small, government can intervene, government can give a price, but that cannot happen too long because there will be different technologies, the cost of production will be different, the geographies will be different, supply chain challenges will be different in each part of the country. The use of CBG also, as what somebody said in the previous session, that use also will be very different. Somebody will use it as a fuel, somebody will use it as a material for something else, maybe input for something else. And the value for this commodity will be different for different sectors. So you don't know what is the right price. And today, when we try to bring pricing through the government mechanism, administered mechanism, actually that time was very right, that LNG prices were very high, spot prices of gas was very high, and then you could get a good price for CBG, and that market also took that. But once after 2 or 3 years, everyone understands that the spot market for gas is very, very hot today, which is going up to $20. Now it has come down to soften at something like $12-13. And maybe after 2 years, it will come down to $5-6. And that time we will find it trouble selling CBG because the cost of CBG will not be something like 5-6. It can be higher depending on the feed cost, the feedstock uh, pricing in the technology. So what way we can make this a self-sustaining pricing mechanism? So we see this that we create value out of green attribute and let it get priced into the system. And those and good part of the whole mechanism, what we thought of, some trigger already has happened. Like government announced in the budget that there will be an obligation on part of the marketers and CGD companies or those who are consuming natural gas. They will be obligated to consume certain percentage of CBG. So once we create an obligation, automatically we have to provide tools to the market that suppose there is an obligation, how can I meet my obligation? So everyone in the system, this obligation will be all throughout the country. So your supply will not be uniform throughout the country. Of course, demand will also not be uniform. So how you can mitigate this, like CBG, if you produce in one part of the country, sell it to somebody remote, that will not be possible because that will be costly also. But suppose we create this green attribute, convert that into a certificate, we are calling it as a CBG certificate. Then this certificate, once somebody produce say 1 MMBTU of gas, CBG, that time they will get one certificate of CBG. And then there is obligation from to all the obligated entities like CGD companies and major customers. And then they will be required to meet that obligation. Either they can buy CBG directly from the producer, but in many cases it won't be possible for them to buy. So why not we have the certificate trading mechanism in place so that somebody who is interested in buying, they can come and trade with the sellers who have got these excess certificates. Again, those CGD companies who are getting more of a CBG than the obligation, they will also be eligible to sell these certificates into the market. So both ways, so if somebody is getting a lot of CBG into his system, he won't find it as a problem, because then he will have the market to sell. And those who, of course, are deficient in meeting the obligation, they should be able to buy these certificates from the market. So how this came to our mind was that we already are running a renewable energy certificate mechanism. Probably in other parts of this expo only people are must be talking about it, because this certificates we started in 2010. The regulations were put in place in 2010, and since 2011 the trades have been happening. So important element of this market would be, like, first is that obligation has already been created. Now we have to put a mechanism. Somebody from the government, maybe some part of the government, we talked about to MNRE, we talked to MOPNG. So one of the government ministries can create this mechanism and launch it, and then we need to create a registry for running this mechanism, because everything will be electronic. These certificates will not be physical. They will be like share certificates, as we are dealing with shares in DMAT form. Similar to that, these certificates will be in DMAT form. And then for that, we need to create a registry. And then trading can be provided by the exchange. So exchange today is running markets for natural gas. We will also run a separate market for CBG. That's possible. And then we can also run a market for CBG certificate. So this is the broad scheme we have in mind. And then we already have some discussions with MNRE. Mr. Meena is here. And then we also had discussion with MOPNG, and both of them are ready to take this forward. And we also had discussion with the CBG Producers Forum, and of course not through IBA, but we had one session in IBA also. And there also we find a lot of people see value in this, and we hope that this will provide option, flexibility, because once you create a certificate, there's no need to find buyer immediately. Maybe today you produce CBG, you will sell CBG immediately, but when you get a certificate, you will have some period before which you should be able to sell it. So there will be a period of 1 year, 2 years. So all of those details of this mechanism is yet to be formed up. But the largely that should take care of the concerns of at least upstream, downstream concerns of the CBG producer. Of course, we are on the downstream, we are talking about downstream mechanism. We also can have something on the upstream, which is like feedstock. And there also we are just conceiving some scheme for biomass trading, where a farmer who is producing biomass, he may get a price which is more competitive. And of course, seller, the CBG producer should also get at a price. And it should be transparent so that everyone gets fair options and fair choices. And the pricing also should be fair. So on both sides, we have started working on it. On the downstream side, we see there's an immediate thing which we can do it. Of course, not that if today we decide we can launch it tomorrow, but of course it will take 1 or 2 years time. And we also understand that there will be some time when this CBG production will also upscale. And by the time it will scale up, we should be ready with all of these things. So if anyone has got any feedback, or maybe they would like to understand more, they can connect to us.
Thank you. I think that's very helpful background about what you are thinking, and I think it makes a lot of sense to think about these certificates. The RECs have been very successful in the market, and there's a proven mechanism that exists. Of course, any entrepreneur who's developing a CBG plant, they're looking for two things. One is the volume certainty, and the second is the price certainty. And with a kind of an obligation, it starts to provide the volume certainty, market certainty. And I think what you said makes a lot of sense. CBG plants are going to be based, we heard recently, location is very important. CBG plants are going to be based near where the raw materials are. But consumers can be anywhere. And therefore, how do they meet those obligations through these certificates is a great way to balance all of that. So thank you. I think that's a great introduction about what you are thinking, and all the best for that. Next, I am going to come to Mr. Deodat Deshpande. He's the CEO for Thermax Bioenergy Solutions Private Limited. Thank you for joining us here. What I'd like to request you is to talk about, since we are talking about, the pricing, we are talking about certificates and carbon prices, staying with that theme of pricing, uh, there are different feedstocks that are there today for generation of CBG. The price of CBG is same. What are your thoughts on the pricing for CBG? Should it continue to be same irrespective of the feedstock, or you think a differential pricing based on the feedstock is need of the hour in the market as well? So your thoughts on this, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know how many of you read today's some headlines from international news. The Guardian talks about the hottest summer of Europe. I don't know how many of you have read that. Did India contribute to this hottest summer? The answer is a big no. We never contributed for this climate change, what we all probably are going through as of now. But at the same time, the amount of policies what have been talked about, the Indian government, the kind of initiatives what this government has taken until date to ensure that while we keep on developing, while we keep on growing, we take the path of green energy needs to be complemented and needs to be congruent. And I take this opportunity to say a big thank you to the government and everybody who has contributed in making these policies to ensure that green energy goes in hand, in parallel, while this country keeps on growing and becomes probably the world's biggest economy. Why did we as a company come into this? Because we at Thamax wanted to be the front runners and wanted to be a trusted partners for everybody who wants to go take this journey of green energy. And that's the reason we were not known in biofuel. Maybe 3 years back, Thamax was not known in biofuel. We were traditionally a boiler company, a water treatment company. And we quickly decided that if we have to be front runners of this, we need to be the front runners of the energy transition. We cannot remain behind in any of the segment of green energy. We are there in solar, we were there in solar, we are now very much in CBG, and we are also going to come in hydrogen very, very strongly. I don't know how many of you know, we have already commissioned one digester on a commercial scale on rice straw and have flared and have burnt 1 million SM cube of gas. I don't know how many of you know over here. One simple reason why we had to burn this. No peso. We talk about so many policies. The policies are framed up, but are they helping the industry? If that 1 lakh SM cube would have got converted into CBG, the bankers sitting over here would have known, look, there's a technology on rice straw, which is already converting CBG. That's give them confidence. The peso today is absolutely, I would say, a major problem. Can you imagine 1 million meter cube gas getting flared? And this is not a boiler where we can stop feeding. This is a microbiological process where once you ramp up the digester, you just cannot stop feeding. We are struggling even today to get that. So while we have policies, it's very important for us that how these policies are implemented on ground. Second thing, we had ISO 16087 been formed. You ask the industry. Every oil marketing company and every city gas distribution company has got different parameters of methane. Somebody says 96, somebody says 98. It's very important that we rationalize this because the policies were framed when the industry was not on the ground. But now the industry is on the ground. It's very important that all the policies needs to be revalidated, probably reconstructed, understanding the pain points of the industry, and then reconverting. That's one more thing what we would want the government to look at. Third thing, we strongly believe many corporates want to come into CBG. And if Indian biogas industry has to succeed, rice straw as a feedstock must succeed because that's available in abundance across the country. Is there a technology which is proven across the globe? Answer is big no. Has India got a technology? Answer is big yes. I just explained that we already have one digester commissioning. Does it have teething issues? Yes, it has. It's going to take a couple of months, 3 months, 4 months, but credible corporates like us, credible partners with whom we are developing, we are very confident we will set up this technology. But once this technology is set up, for the first 2-3 years, the results, what we are saying, probably the IRRs or the paybacks are going to be 6 to 7 years. I don't know how many developers, apart from the big corporates, are going to come in. So to make these IRRs or to make these paybacks lucrative we probably would have to look at something, a differential pricing, especially for rice straw. We will have to find out something similar to US where there is a unique identification number for feedstock. I'm not saying you give a blanket for MSW press mud, but for rice straw, we definitely believe, at least for the next 2-3 years, because as many of my colleagues on the panel have said, that technologies are yet to be proven. I can assure you on behalf of India's most credible and largest engineering industry that we are now demonstrating the technology on a commercial scale. The answer is there are definite teething problems, and we are very confident of solving that. And we will be the front runners across the globe when it comes to any straw technology. But we will definitely require differential pricing for that at the same time. The fourth issue which I want on, the entire biomass industry is in the rural part of the country. It's not going to be in the cities. Now, even if you fill in cascades, there's no take or pay policy, and I don't want to talk it because it's been talked for ages together. So how quickly the CGD networks are going to come into those areas is also going to be very, very important for the success of this industry. One distinctive advantage what you get with CGD is that you don't have to compress. You also save 30 to 40% of the power consumption, which goes in compressing it to 250 to 40 bar. So that's something what additional advantage what you get out of that. So that's something which we definitely would definitely want the government to look at this point of time. I think so. Apart from that, let's all remember that the policies we talk about, and we are complementing each other for the policies and steps what we have taken. But if you really look at these policies, and what's the objective of these policies? If the objective of these policies is to ensure that we leave a safe earth for the generations and generations to follow us, then we should not look at these policies from a commercial aspect point of view or from a health perspective point of view. We should really look from an human aspect point of view is what I would like to say, and I would like to end this thing.
Thank you. Thank you for your thoughts, which are highly valued. Sharing with everyone the challenges that you are facing. So I fully agree with you. I think having the policies in place is the first step. The second step follows, which is also important. In fact, more important is to make sure they are being implemented. So thank you for pointing out some of the challenges that you are facing. With that, I'd like to move on to Mr. Marcello Barbato. He's a CEO for Green Renewable Energy Consulting Limited. He's been building biogas plants and biomethane projects in different countries. He told me outside for last 15, 16 years he's been doing this. So welcome to this event. And we look forward to hearing from you about the projects that you have developed and the ones and you developed it across Asia. So you have the benefit of looking at projects in India and outside. So how do you see the project development life cycle over here? What do you feel? What are your experiences of navigating from concept to commissioning these projects? So we look forward to hearing your experiences.
Thank you so much. First of all, good afternoon, and thank you so much for being here. I'm the last one, so everybody's more tired, but I have the opportunity to summarize and pick up from every speaker. It's impressive to see how fast the biogas industry is picking up here in India. And I was wondering, then the policy adopted by this country is working. And then currently we are building a project in Uttar Pradesh region. It's a 10 tons CNG project. And I was thinking, is this enough to achieve and meet the ambitious targets that this administration set in terms of CO2 emissions and sustainable agriculture? Well, eventually, if we are here and so many people is here, it means that this current policy is working, is starting up the engine. Can something more be done? Definitely yes. I come from a region of the world that is experiencing a huge crisis of energy, from Europe. I'm from Italy. And so I've seen that different countries in Europe had to switch quickly to boost the production of CNG. Of course, we changed the main suppliers at the moment, but then the policymakers started to think, how can we be independent from North Africa, from Russia, from US, from other countries? And they acted not right on the price of CBG. Of course, as a project developer, I would be more than happy to have a higher price for CBG. But also, as you mentioned, is this enough? I don't think so. There are several points that could be worked around the price of CBG to make project more feasible. First of all, to support the demand. And you have in place a regulation for blending of 5% of CBG with the CNG. These might be implemented. These might be speeded up. These might be supported by further policies. So you boost the demand. You generate a demand. The supply will be there. Whenever there is a demand, the supply will be there. Why? Because you are a huge country. And the supply of agricultural waste will be always there. And I always say biogas is the most democratic renewable energy because everyone is benefiting from the process. The project developers, I hope, the investors, but also up to the smaller farmer that can supply his 100 tons of manure and getting benefit out of that. Why? Because if he doesn't do that, either it dumps the waste backyard, and so it damages the environment, or it doesn't make a profit out of that. So that's why I believe that is the most democratic source of renewable energy. Number two, as Mr. Ravi mentioned, there are level state policies which are actually working. In Uttar Pradesh, the region where we are building our project, there are several policies that are really helping the investors to go through. I will mention the fact that the government facilitate the connection between the investor and the other stakeholders, the feedstock suppliers. So this makes very easy, or let's say easier, to implement the project. Number two, there is actually a policy to support the biofertilizer. This is very important because we are looking at CBG, and this is right. But don't forget, a biogas project will generate also fertilizer and CO2. For example, the project we are implementing in Uttar Pradesh will be virtuous. Like we will generate the CBG, the biofertilizer, liquid and solid, and the CO2, so that we try to get the maximum out of the project. Third, a proper gas grid connection. Virtual pipeline is okay, is our only option in remote areas because, as you say, the projects are in remote where the feedstock is. So virtual pipeline is an option, but it's not the best option. We really hope the government will push a grid connection, capillary one, to benefit out of the production of biogas. Another improvement might be done on the general level on the support of biofertilizer price. There are some states that already do that, but some others they don't. And so this would help us without touching the price of CNG, but working around the project, also on the fertilizer part, which will help the farmers organization, and the investor. Least but not last, also at the moment, the CO2 production is not really on the main radar of the government, but this is something very important because can complete the business model and can achieve the target, the zero emission. If you don't recover CO2, you puff it out in the atmosphere, which is okay, much less than methane, but still is CO2 that goes into the atmosphere. So the correct use of CO2 might help the business model, so the investor, and in general, might help to meet the targets and also step into the carbon credit markets. At the end, all these improvements, which don't touch the price of CBG, but the workaround will make the project more feasible. But the main issue that all these items should help us to talk with banks. Uh, this is not the biggest issue for us, but also very important to talk with banks, increase their confidence. So once we are backed up by good policies, we can sit with bankers and start moving slowly to a real project financing. Project financing means that you go there, you knock at the door, you explain your business model, you show your land. It's very important. You show how the financial work, you give guarantees on the feedstock, you give guarantees on the purchase of the fuel, and that's the asset you are going to finance. This will help a lot. It's nice to have big boys, big customers, big investors, but as biogas is democratic, it can really be realized also from medium, small farmers. And that's where we need support also from the banks.
Thank you, Marcello, for bringing on a holistic perspective and definitely for adding the CO2 component. I think that's also very important. And if there can be a market for the CO2, it helps everyone. So thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have amongst us Shri S.R. Meena. He's scientist in MNRE, and we are glad that he's actually joined us here today. We would like to also invite him here to share his thoughts, and he's heard the distinguished panelists talk about their projects, how the challenges they are facing, the growth they are seeing in the market, the hopes they have with this sector. So we really look forward to, sir, your thoughts on how the ministry is looking at it and the support that it can provide to the industry. So can I request you to please share your thoughts as well with everyone?
Namaste, good afternoon. I'm sorry I joined little bit late, but not only MNRE, but many ministries like Ministry of Petroleum, as Mr. Vijay Kumar said, that for promoting entire bioenergy program, we have many schemes. There is no scarcity of fund. We are MNRE supporting CBG since 1980s, and now we have in advance scheme. We remove the hurdles like compulsory loan, or we are managing applications through biogas portal, so we can track our applications, and we are releasing subsidy in 2-3 phases. In developing phase means advanced CFA. So there are so many changes and upgradation in the schemes, and obviously there is a good fund we allocated for CBG projects. In first phase, we allocated 857 crores for all kind of biogas like small, medium, and CBG, and we also introduced the component of uh, briquettes, pellets to support the Samarth mission, and there is a good schemes are there. Similarly, we have added additional component like additional subsidy for registered Goshalas and NER states, and so like that. Due to these policies, we have more than 100 projects under pipeline. As CBG project takes time, so right now about 60 projects are commissioned and more than 100 projects are under pipeline. So in coming months, few months, I think we may have more projects on CBG, and if CBG related any uh, means application based problems, then I can facilitate separately, and so therefore I can say that it is a good time to promote CBG. Not only CBG but also like fertilizer, biofertilizer. We have ministry have latest the MDA assistance again, and the liquid organic manure and solid organic manure. So things have been changed, and so I think I can say in single word that this is the right time to promote the bioenergy like solar and other renewable energy. So it is golden time for bioenergy project. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I think, and that there couldn't be a better conclusion to the discussion by saying there is a golden time that is coming, and I think, and that is reflected in the participation and people that are turning up. So I know we are coming to the end of the session, but I do want to open it up for at least two questions. If anyone would like to ask a question, first of all, please introduce yourself and ask your question, and then also let us know if you would request any specific person to answer that. I see there's a hand up of that lady over there, so can someone get a mic to her, please?
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks a lot for providing this forum. Myself, Kiran Kothari. I'm from HPCL, sir. My question is specific to sir, who listed the chronology of the circulars which came as a pace to show the pace of the development of the biogas industry in India. Sir, there is no circular for the price mechanism fixation of the raw material or the feedstock, which is varying from 2 rupees to 6 rupees nowadays and affecting the viability of these CBG plants. As we can see, HPC, IOC like giants are entering into business, whereas in private sectors, if you will see, Adani, Ambani, all are entering, and Reliance are also entering. They are ready to procure the feedstock at the rate of 6 rupees. And we are procuring it at the rate of 2 to 3 rupees. 2 rupees is not at all, and this agro waste is nowadays not a surplus, sir. So some mechanism should be there to fix the rate of the feedstock. First question is this, sir. Would you like to answer right now?
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very nice question, very pertinent. In fact, feed stock is the state subject because agriculture and all other municipalities are controlled by the state government. So centrally, we cannot decide, by central government cannot decide the price of the feed stock for every state, because feed stock is controlled by the states, various states, like municipality, MSW, is controlled by various municipality of that particular city, which is again controlled by the state government of that state. Similarly, agriculture waste, cattle dung, everything is locally controlled by the local municipalities or local government. So central government cannot declare any procurement price of the feed stock. But what we are trying is that some central assistance on the basis of the production of biogas, say like agri residue, based on agri residue, some incentive on biogas production, if that can be arranged, that we are trying for. And hopefully with our persistence, this might happen. Like for example, if we want that for central assistance, suppose say 1 rupees 50 paisa per kg paddy straw procurement, some assistance should be there. So that if you convert to biogas price, it will come to 15 rupees. So we are trying that at least 10 to 15 rupees per kg central assistance for the per kg should be declared, so that if any plant is producing say 10 ton per day biogas and getting sold in the market by 15,000 per ton, that central assistance should be there. That will help in neutralizing this cost of feed stock. Suppose you are procuring at higher cost, that will neutralize to some extent. So that we are trying. Hopefully something will come in that direction also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. One more suggestion is there for the sir, for you from MNRE. Sir, if you will see, we are working in different states, and all states thankfully are having the biofuel policy in place. But if you will see one line written in all the policies, that the technology should be proven by MNRE. And as per my knowledge, no technology is proven by you. So that line should be reviewed in each and every state, because whenever we are going for the subsidy, they are asking us to get it certified from MNRE.
Ma'am, actually we are giving subsidy on output basis. So because in bioenergy, the feedstock is regional and seasonal issue, nature dependent, so many diversities there. So that's why the technology, we cannot prove the technology, because technology may be differ, each and every feedstock have some different technical parameter or so that, so it is very difficult. So we are giving subsidy assistance output basis. So in that case, you can use any technology or any feedstock.
Then, sir, some review from your side should be given to this all state
Technology
policies.
specific is a little
Yeah, that
bit
should
very
be
tricky
removed
challenge
when-
because
yeah.
very particular feedstock requirement is different. So we cannot, it is very difficult task. I think technical expert can better realize this issue, but we are providing subsidy on output basis. So technology may be different.
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for your questions.
you.
So I think we'll take just one last question if anyone has. There's a gentleman over there, or yeah, just one last question. That lady, whoever.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. This is Shweta from HPCL again.
Can you please speak up? We can't hear.
Yeah, my name is Shweta Kumari. I'm from HPCL. So this question is regarding the technologies that we are using for these CBG plants. See, we have multiple partners who are offering various solutions for these plants. But when we have set up the plant has various issues, and maybe the power issue or the teething issues. So we're not able to completely commercialize the plant because of various teething issues. So I think being in IBA, you should have some policy in which you should verify the technology and maybe stamp some technology so that we can use it. Otherwise, we have multiple EPC partners and technology providers, but the solutions they are offering are similar. And after we set up the plant, there are various issues that we are facing. So,
Thank you for pointing that out. If anyone would like to share any thoughts or ideas.
Maybe I can share our experience from a market, the European market that is lasting since more than 20 years. I've noticed that along the years, you are very right, there is a critical points on some technologies. Along the 20 years process, now in Europe, I guess we have more than 15,000 or 20,000 biogas plants running. There was a natural selection of the technology. So in the beginning, 20 years ago, they were asking me, what is the cheapest technology, the lowest cost? The paradigm shift now is on what is the lowest total cost of operation. So also banks, they learn how to evaluate the technology, not based on the CapEx, but based on the total cost of operation. So how many years the project will run, 20, 25? Is it the technology good enough to last for 20 years? What is the parasitic load, the electrical consumption of a project? What is the operational cost? How good is technology to turn the organic matter into biogas? And this can be supported and helped fixing some standards for the technology. This is very important. The market is young here. Things will improve, but we really believe that fixing standards on the quality of bio-CNG, on the methane slip, how much methane is lost in the off gas, this is very important.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'd just like to add one. The answer to this question is, if you know that globally some feedstocks have not been proven, and if you expect something to come on the ground day one, then it's better that you don't invest into this technology. You wait for somebody to mature it and then come into it. Because this will have teething problems, and only those partners who are going to be along with us to help resolve these issues will stay in this market. Those who want ready-made technologies getting it stamped from some government agencies, probably the market is not for them at this point of time, would be a blunt answer from me at this point.
Thank
Very
you. That
sorry
was
to say that.
quite a blunt assessment, but thank you. I think that's the way it is, and that's the way you see it. Thank you, everyone. I think we probably not take any more questions. So you're free to reach out to the panelists after the session and interact with them if you have questions on a one-to-one basis. But it's been a very engaging session. You know, I've learned a lot, and you know, we've touched on every aspect. I'd say we've talked about technology, we've talked about financing, we've talked about sale of CBG, sale of CO2, sale of liquid organic manure, and you know, we've also talked about carbon markets and benefits that it can provide. So I think in a sense there are multiple aspects that need to come together for CBG sector and CBG plants to work. And raw material as well, we talked about how to ensure raw material prices. So all of these, when they come together, of course, the sector will be successful. and I'm glad that we've had people here talk about the importance of all of these in the context of CBG. So I'd like to thank all of you, all the speakers who've taken time out to come and share their valued perspective. And I would be wrong in saying, in behalf of the audience, it's been a very enriching session. Thank you so much for coming and attending and enlightening us all. So thank you.
Thank you so much, distinguished speakers of the session, and I also thank the moderator of the session for wonderfully conducting and concluding the session. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Informa Markets and also Indian Biogas Association, we would like to present a memento to our distinguished panelists. May I request the moderator of the session, Mr. Gurpreet Chugh, to kindly present the mementos to our speakers. We would like to present a memento to Mr. Bijay Kumar. Can we put a huge round of applause as we thank our panelists of the session? We like to present a memento to Mr. Rajesh Medirata. We would like to present a memento to Mr. Devdatta Deshpande. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly put your hands together as we thank our panelists. It's been, as indicated, a very enriching session. May we also present a memento to Mr. Marcelo Barbato. We would like to present a memento to Mr. Ravi Kaushal. May we also present a memento to Mr. Rajiv Kumar. We would now like to present a memento to Mr. S.R. Meena. May I request Dr. A.R. Shukla to kindly join us onto the stage and present a memento to the moderator of the session. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for the moderator of the session for doing a stupendous job, Mr. Gurpreet Chugh. Can we put our hands together and thank the moderator of the session and also the speakers of the session for sharing their thoughts and also making it very interactive. We look forward to a little more discussion on it, which we can catch up during our lunch break. Thank you so much. May I request the panelists to kindly step forward and also Dr. Shukla to be there for a group photograph. May I request all our panelists to kindly step forward for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we conclude our technical session, and we would be resuming with our next technical session, which is post-lunch session, sharp at 2:30.